We welcome you to Georgetown, Kentucky for this NAIA softball doubleheader featuring the Midway Eagles and the Georgetown Tigers. Georgetown comes into today's game 12-10 off the season, off of a up-and-down road trip to Florida over spring break, but got some time away here and started playing better as the week went along. They're back at home to take on the Midway Eagles, who are 9-5 on the season. Sarah Claxon on the mound for the Tigers today, the ace of the staff for Georgetown. She's 6-2 on the season with a 2.28 ERA. Pitched very, very well down in Florida over the last week, which the Tigers, and actually it's several teams down there on their trip down there to Florida last week. So Georgetown looking to get back into the win column here today, keep things moving in that direction as they take on Midway, who comes in, as I mentioned, at 9-5 on the season. Good Midway offense, .314 team batting average on the campaign. Not a lot of power thus far, just 3 home runs for the team, and so they're really going to have to play a lot more small ball in order to get runs on the board here. So efficiency will be the key for Claxon, and she's gotten better at that as the year has gone along. If you remember early in the season, a lot of games with high pitch counts for Claxon. She's continued to improve in that area as things have gone along on the season. Reagan Albert will lead things off for the Eagles. A freshman outfielder playing in right field today. .281 hitter on the year, has 3 RBI. This is her 10th appearance on the season. Has also scored 5 runs. Before Albert steps in, looks like we might have a change here to the lineup for Midway before the game even gets going. That's interesting. In either case, looks like the change has been made. Looks like Shelby Wilhite will be in the game as opposed to Lauren Lingefelter, which is different from what the starting lineup was. In either case, Claxon takes the mound against Albert. Nice day here in Georgetown, Kentucky. Temperatures right around 50 degrees, a little bit of a wind, and the first pitch is on the way, and Claxon deals it on the inside corner to get things going. A little bit of a breeze blowing out towards right field, straight down the right field line, and so if that players get balls into play, especially down the right field line, could cause some challenges for the fielders out there, particularly for Georgetown right now with Kylie West out in right field. Claxon paints the outside corner and is quickly ahead 0-2. Claxon trying to make quick work of the freshman. Reagan Albert tries to go a little further outside and just off the plate. Ella Forish behind the plate today for Georgetown. Kaylin Barnett at third. Ashley Shelton at short. Cassie Reynolds at second. And Mallory Myers over at first. Your outfield from left to right. Stevie Shepard, Peyton Bajer, and as I mentioned, Kylie West is in right. The 1-2 now to Albert. Trying to go outside again, and Claxon misses, and we're even. One more coming here for Claxon, trying to retire that first hitter. And Albert chases a high one and slaps it back to the netting, and will stay 2-2. Fans here in attendance just below us, mostly bundled up, as you can imagine, with that breeze coming in from behind. And again, blowing straight out towards the right field line. We'll try the 2-2 once more. Claxon again trying the outside edge and just misses once more, and Albert has fought her way back to a full count after falling behind 0-2. The 3-2, and this one is slapped out of play as Claxon went high in the zone once more, and Albert chased after it. I think it's something Midway will look to do here today, is try to fight off, extend at-bats, try and wear Claxon down, and potentially get into that Georgetown bullpen here in Game 1 of this doubleheader. 2 games scheduled today. We will have both here on this single stream here on YouTube. as Albert slaps another one. This one's going to go down the right field line, and somebody who was just pulling away nearly took a softball into their driver's side window. It hits the ground harmlessly, and we'll try it again. Good bounce back for the freshman Albert at bat against the veteran Claxon. The 3-2 once more. Claxon works the inside and gets the corner. She had painted the outside for half a dozen pitches in a row, and Claxon finally comes back inside, fools Albert for the strikeout. Up next is Katie Rhodes for the Eagles, one of their more productive hitters on the year, 364 average. She has 7 extra base hits. 7 of her 16 base hits, I should say, are 4 extra bases, 4 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run. She's driven in 8 on the year and walked 3 times, also stolen a couple of bases. So a very versatile threat. Rhodes is in the 2 spot. She'll slap this one down the right field line and out of play. 1-1. Claxon v. Rhodes here in the top of the first. Game number 1 of this doubleheader here today in Georgetown. Claxon misses high this time. Forrest had to come out of her stance to grab it. The Rhodes slaps this one down the right field line. It is foul. And so we'll be even at 2-2 as West goes and chases that one down back by the fence. And Claxon will wait for that ball to come back in. Claxon tells Shelton it's short. Thank you very much for the assist. And now Claxon gets ready for the break even. Working that inside edge and took a little off that time, and Rhodes well out in front of it and fouls it away. And here you see again, second batter, Rhodes, much like the leadoff hitter, Albert, just fighting balls off, trying to stay in these at-bats. But as I said also, if that continues on, that's going to run up the pitch count for Claxon in a hurry. Took 9 pitches to retire Albert. Now another extended at-bat. This one from Rhodes down the right field line. West will have it in foul territory for the out. 2 steps into foul territory, just outside of range there. Kylie West has it for the second out. Coming up now,
For the Eagles, number 12,
Kennedy Thompson steps in, third baseman for the game today. Leads the team in RBIs with 11 and also in batting average. She's a .383 hitter on the season. 18 hits thus far for Thompson. Claxon trying to go high on the first offering, and it's a little too high. Thompson, a sophomore out of Louisville, attended Butler High School. Claxon misses low this time and is quickly behind 2-0. Claxon trying to work the inside, a little too inside, and it's 3-0. Her pitching counterpart, Madison Ludwig, in the on-deck circle. Both pitchers today batting in the cleanup spot. And we'll show you the Georgetown lineup when the Tigers come to bat in the bottom of the first. The 3-0 right down the heart of the plate. And Thompson taking all the way. It's 3-1. Pitch number 20 of the inning for Claxon is up the middle, and Randall's nice move to her right. Easy throw on to first, and the side is retired. So some more pitches than Claxon may have wanted, but she gets through the first unscathed. We'll head to the bottom of the first in just a moment. Georgetown coming to bat. Tigers will deal with Madison Ludwig on the mound. She, like Sarah Claxton, 6-2 on the season. Already 7 complete games. She's gone the distance in every game she has started on the season. She has an ERA of 3.19. She'll deal with the Tigers' leadoff hitter, Kaylin Barnett, on the year. 339 average for Barnett. She's drawn 15 walks on the campaign already, the team leader. Good way to set the table when your leadoff hitter can get on as much as he does. And Barnett slaps one in the right center. That's going to be a one-hopper to the wall. And Kaylin Barnett quickly waving to the bench and said, hey, look at me. I got a leadoff double, and the Tigers in business quickly. And Stevie Shepard will step in, the freshman at 264 on the campaign. She has started all 23 games now in her freshman campaign, Stevie Shepard has. Shepard puts the bunt down. Barnett will easily get to third. The out will take place over at first, but Shepard does her job and advances the runner with one down. And now it'll be on Mallory Myers to try and bring Barnett home. Myers on the season thus far, leading the Tigers with a 361 batting average. Also leads the team with 12 stolen bases. By far the team leader in that category. Myers slaps one down the third base line. Barnett will hold, and the out is made, and just barely made over at first. And it's quickly the second out. Not what Georgetown coach Thomas Thornton was wanting there.
Number 32,
Sarah Claxton quickly into the box for the Tigers. 339 average on the season for the Tigers ace. 21 hits and 62 at-bats. She has also drawn 10 walks, and she'll take this one in the dirt as Ludwig tried to go with a slide piece on the first pitch of the at-bat. That ball inside. That's just the 5th pitch of the inning for Ludwig. And she's behind 2-0 as Barnett, Shepard, and Myers all went after the first pitch they saw. On the outside edge, too far, and Claxton moves ahead 3-0. Cassie Reynolds on deck should Claxton reach. And misses inside, so Claxton draws her 11th walk on the season, and that will bring up Cassie Reynolds, the second baseman for the Tigers. 318 on the season. So now runners at the corners for Georgetown as Reynolds digs in from the left side and immediately fouls one back to the screen. So now it's Ludwig trying to work out of a jam. "49 innings on the season. She's allowed 44 hits and now 35 walks. Trying to take a breaking ball. Claxton trying to get in trouble down at third to get the runner home, and the runner is out at home as the catcher there underneath, and Thomas Thornton's trying to make his argument here, as Mary Andres didn't look like she, at least Coach Thornton's going to argue that Barnett did not have a clear path to the plate. He thought Andres was blocking the plate. And wait and see what the call is here. Now the Midway staff asking for an explanation there, and I think this run's going to count. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think they're going to say that Andres behind the plate did not give Barnett a clear path to the plate, and you have to provide that to the runner. And so with that, the run's going to count. It's going to be 1-0 in favor of Georgetown. Claxton moves down to second. And Midway doesn't like it. I think it's just the fact that it was so quickly called an out. So now it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Rannells. Claxton was just trying to get out in a rundown at it between first and second to try to get Barnett home. Now Rannells slaps one over to the second base. A nice play over there, but the fielder could not get the ball out of her glove. It'll be an infield single, and runners back at the corners. With still 2 out, and Peyton Bazier stepping in.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 20, Peyton Bazier.
It was a nice play by Talcott over there to go to her left to dive, but just could not get a grasp of the ball out of the glove. Now, don't be surprised if Rannells tries to do the same thing here to see if she can get in a rundown out between first and second. That's exactly what's happening, but they've got Claxton in a rundown at third. She's going to get back to third, and Rannells is going to take second. I'm surprised that the catcher there went down to third, given how small of a lead that Claxton had off the bag. But the Tigers get everybody back, but now 2 runners in scoring position for Bazier. Ball high, and it's 2-0. So Claxton at third, Rannells at second. Again, all that runner from behind is trying to do is get in a rundown between first and second to allow the runner at third to try to go home. Bazier's going to slap one into the right center field. That'll bring 2 runs home, and Peyton Bazier will cruise into second with the double, and it is 3-0 in favor of Georgetown as the Tigers take advantage of the added out there after Barnett was initially called out. Then the call was overturned.
Number 1, Ashley Shelton.
Ashley Shelton now steps in. It's her 13th appearance on the season, .250 batting average. And she'll pop one down the right field line. It'll be caught in foul territory to retire the side. But Georgetown does damage quickly against Madison Ludwig. A 3 spot on the board in the bottom of the first. Sarah Claxton back on the mound will face her pitching counterpart, Madison Ludwig, to start off the top of the second, but the offense giving Claxton some help from behind with 3 runs on the board to get things going here. Really gifted those extra opportunities after Barnett's out call at home plate was overturned, correctly overturned by the home plate umpire, as Barnett was not given a clear path to the plate. Andres, the catcher, was really standing in the right-handed batter's box, blocking off Barnett. So Ludwig will step in. 333 batting average on the season, has knocked in 8. So Claxton steps in. This will be her 21st pitch. Claxton trying to work inside, a little too far inside to start off the top of the second. Claxton again working inside and misses too far in. Did that early against Albert and got ahead, but now just going too far into Ludwig and is behind 2-0. See how aggressive Ludwig chooses to be here with a good spot in the at-bat. No need to be aggressive when the pitch is in the dirt, and it's 3-0. Claxton just trying to find the zone. Nope. Ball 4. That'll bring up freshman Michaela McDowell. McDowell on the season, just 3 for 11 in limited action.
Number 18, Michaela McDowell.
3 for 11, but 2 of those 3 hits are doubles. So definitely some pop in the bat. And I think if anything here for McDowell, try and get that runner over to second. Some kind of hold up with something down the right field line. I'm not sure what it is. It's like the bullpen gate down on the other end of the Midway dugout came open, and so we need to get that secured before this at-bat can take place. McDowell in the DP spot in the order for the Eagles today. And so Claxon misses on 4 straight to start the top of the second. Gets that one on the outside edge to get ahead against McDowell. Right down the heart of the plate. McDowell never even thought about bringing the bat off the shoulder, and she's in an 0-2 hole. Mary Andres, the catcher, in the on-deck circle. Way outside there. Perhaps something like an unintentional pitch out from Claxon to boot as Ludwig danced off of first after the ball was caught by Forish behind the plate. An 0-2 count. You can afford to waste one. Wouldn't be surprised if Claxon tries to work outside once more here on the 1-2. She'll go inside, and McDowell fights it back to the screen. Pretty good timing on that swing by McDowell, just a little jammed because of the strong location from Claxon. So that becomes the chess match here if you're Claxon. Do you go back inside, maybe try a little further in on McDowell, or do you try and go with the off speed away and see if you can get McDowell out in front and chase one? Find out here on the 1-2. And she did indeed go away and right by McDowell for the out. Ludwig stays over at first.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 45, Mary Andres.
Andres on the season. Limited opportunities, but she's made the most of them. 11 out of 23 in 8 games coming into today. It's a .478 clip. Has 6 RBIs, also leads the team with 6 stolen bases. So even though behind the plate, she can move. Takes one high to start the at-bat against the Tigers ace. 3-0 Georgetown, top of the second. Madison Ludwig drew a 4-pitch walk to lead off the inning. Andre showing bunt that time, and it's off the plate. It's 2-0. A late half show of a bunt from Andres, but nothing doing as she was taking all the way. Barnett tight to the line at third. Myers a couple of steps in at first. On the inside edge, Claxon gets that one. It's 2-1. Andre shows the bunt again, and a very late offering at it fouls it back. It's 2-2. Right there, Andres just waited too long to try and bring that ball around. I think she was trying to punch it down the first base line. Try and get a running start on it to boot to see if she could perhaps get around Myers and get to first. But way late on the offering, and it's 2-2. It's not 2-2 anymore as a check swing out towards the middle umpire, and Andres is retired. It was very, very close, but Claxon has the strikeout. That is her third.
Number 24, McKenna Talcott.
McKenna Talcott steps in now. 333 on the season. A couple of runs driven in. Ludwig's still stuck at first as the Eagles unable to get her over thanks to back-to-back strikeouts of Sarah Claxton, and Talcott a day late on that heater from Claxton. Offering that time on a bunt is Talcott. On a bunt for a base hit there. I think she's trying to go between Barnett and Claxton on the left side towards Shelton, but was off the mark, and she's quickly in an 0-2 hole, and Claxton trying to strike out the side. Took something off that time as Talcott was nearly 2 steps into the infield by the time Forish caught the ball. 1-2. Barnett playing tighter in towards the plate at third. Myers pretty much even with the bag at first. The 1-2. And Talcott slaps that one up and out of play, and we'll try it again. Claxton with 20 pitches in the first inning. She's approaching that here in the second. I have to think this is going to be a one-pitcher game for both teams here in this one as Claxton tries to hit the outside edge, can't do it. As I said earlier with Ludwig, she has gone the distance in all 7 of her starts on the season. Sarah Claxton in 6 starts has 5 complete games. This ball slapped down the first baseline, and we'll do the 2-2 once more. Ludwig drew the leadoff walk, and then strikeouts from McDowell and Andres have put the pressure on Talcott to try to make something happen with that leadoff runner. No chance. Nice location on the pitch, low and away. Claxton does indeed strike out the side, and we're through an inning and a half. Georgetown will look to add to their 3-0 lead. Eight, 9, and 1 for the Tigers here in the bottom of the second. Ella Forish to lead things off against Ludwig. Forish on the season. This is her 14th appearance. 273 batting average. It'll be for Tangelo to follow, and then back to the top of the order with Kaylin Barnett. And Forish fights one off towards second base, and an easy play made. 1 pitch, 1 out. And again, the Tigers remain aggressive as Talcott makes the play. Georgetown going after Ludwig early in that bat. Saw the first 3 batters of the game for Georgetown all go after the first pitch against Ludwig, and now Forish does it here in the bottom of the second as Fratangelo steps in. 244 on the average on the season. Second most on the team with 3 home runs. She's also knocked in 10. Takes a strike on the outside edge. Fratangelo has driven in 10. She's scored 10. Also has drawn 8 walks. Good pitch on the outside as Ludwig took something off, and Fratangelo's knees buckled a bit. Quickly 0-2. That Pitch well off the outside edge. The 1-2 now to Fratangelo, but not before she steps out to regather herself as Andres was taking a little long to get the signal out to Ludwig. And now we reset. Well off the outside edge as Fratangelo lays off the high heat. It's 2-2. Working inside, Fratangelo fights it over to second, but Talcott is there, easy play, and there are 2 down. That'll bring up Kaylin Barnett, who doubled to right center on the very first pitch. And got the Tigers' first inning offense going. It was Barnett's 5th double of the season. Good pitch as Barnett was expecting fastball and was going to go after it, and Ludwig came with the changeup and caught the inner half. Took something off again, and Barnett's out once more, out in front once more. So Barnett went aggressive after the fastball in the first pitch against Ludwig, and so Ludwig's made that adjustment. Now she's ahead 0-2. Tries to go with the heater on the outside edge. Floor can't be framed behind the plate there by Andres. And it is 1-2. Not a bad idea, though. Wouldn't be surprised if she tries to go with some high heat here. And that's what happened. Not as high as Ludwig would have liked. It allowed Barnett to fight it up and out of play and live to see another pitch. Stevie Shepard on deck. And the 1-2. Barnett out in front of this one, but keeps it fair down the left field line. It's by the fielder in left field, and Barnett will cruise into second with another double. Just went under the glove of the left fielder, Jones, but Barnett would have made it into second anyway with her terrific speed. And now Stevie Shepard steps in. She dropped down a sacrifice in the bottom of the first, beg your pardon, that allowed Barnett to get to third before she scored on that play at the plate. Barnett heading to third, and she is in there. Throw a little low and a little wide of the target, and Kaylin Barnett has the stolen bag. Don't see that often there. I think that's why you can pull that off every once in a while. That steal of third with 2 out. Barnett now just 60 feet away for Shepard. And Shepard waves at the high heat. And it's 1-1. Sun finally starting to break through here in Georgetown. I feel better the fans here in attendance. Still a little bit of a light wind out toward right field. Shepard fights one over to third base. It's bobbled over there by Thompson, but still in time to make the throw over to first to retire the side. So a Barnett double, nothing to show for it. We're through 2 here in game 1 of this doubleheader, and the Tigers leading Midway 3-0.
Leading off for the Eagles, number 5, Shelby Wilhite.
8-9-1 for the Eagles here in the top of the third. Shelby Wilhite, the first baseman, steps in. Wilhite on the season, making just her 5th appearance on the season, looking for her first hit. She's 0 for 8 on the year coming into today. And gets ahead as Claxon misses high. Claxon with 20 pitches in the first, 21 pitches in the second. Pitch number 43 coming here in the top of the third as Wilhite waves right through one, and it's 1-1. Claxon misses low with the breaking ball, and it's 2-1. Wilhite fights this one off, and it's even at 2-2. Another leadoff hitter that Claxon falls behind on. Has fought her way back even here. Claxon comes with the break even. Goes up high, and Wilhite, no chance at that. Was never going to get a piece of that one, and Claxon has another strikeout. Now to bring up Carly Jones. Next, Jones playing in left field today. 281 hitter on the season. Claxon's 5th strikeout. Missing inside, it's ball 1. Slapped into right field, and that'll be a base hit. Yes, it will. Good effort by West, and a good stretch by Myers at first, but it cannot be had as Jones reaches. And that will turn the lineup over to Reagan Albert.
That's the play for the Eagles, number 15, Reagan Albert.
First hit of the day for Midway. Albert steps in, went down on strikes to lead off the ball game against Sarah Claxon. So Jones off of first. This ball's popped up into shallow center. That's going to be a tough play. Nice one by Rannells. Running away, and that ball also twisting, and she had to reach behind her a bit to record the out. But nevertheless,
up to the plate for the Eagles,
a quick out.
Katie Rhodes.
And a rare quick out for Claxon thus far today as Rhodes steps in. Rhodes retired in her first venture against Claxon in the top of the first. This one slapped out of play to get this at-bat going. The 0-1 to Rhodes. Down the heart of the plate, right back to the pitcher. No problem here in the top of the third. 1 hit, 1 left. Claxon still pitching well through 3, giving up just 1 hit and struck out 5. Mallory Myers leads off. Came up with Barnett on at third in the first, and the first offering for Barnett was a half swing that went right to the third baseman Thompson for an out, and Barnett had to hold at third. Ludwig misses well wide on the first offering. Myers very dangerous if she can reach base. As I said earlier, by far the team leader in stolen bases with 12. She's the only Tiger with more than 6 on the season. Barnett trying to do her part just in this game alone to try and draw closer to that. But still, it's Myers that's shown the most consistent speed on the bases for the Tigers. But at the plate, Myers faces Ludwig on the 1-1. And Myers waving through that ball, and it is 1-2. She was trying to go over with that slapping swing toward the left side of the infield. Thompson in about 5 paces inside the third baseline and hugging the line tightly. Wilhite doing the same over at first as Myers steps out to regather. 1-2 coming. Sarah Claxon waits on deck with Cassie Rannells to follow. And Myers takes one high and away, and we are even at 2-2. Yet to be determined. Before game 1, I asked assistant coach Kelly Edwards about the pitching plan for game 2 today, and that was still to be determined as Myers fights one off inside. A check down the first baseline. The umpire there probably wasn't going to have a good look at it anyway, but Myers held up regardless. It's 3-2. So do not know who the Tigers will put on the mound in game 2. No, Kelsey Hill had a couple of solid performances down in Florida. It'll either be Hill or Emma Cummings, we presume, in game 2. But that is still yet to be determined. Had not been figured out by Coach Thornton and his staff ahead of this game here. Myers slaps one down the left field line, but it's foul. Surprised our photographer Richard Davis didn't snatch his hand up and try and catch that ball. I was reminded you to check out the photo gallery link on the Georgetown College Athletics website, georgetowncollegeathletics.com. Myers slaps one to second, a 2-hopper there, and Talcott making it look easy out at second base. She has been busy thus far today, but the young lady has continued to deliver, and that brings up Claxon.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 32, Sarah Claxon.
So Claxon steps in. Takes that pitch on the outer half. Claxon drew a walk in her first at-bat. It's her 11th walk of the season. She has the second most on the team behind Barnett. Takes this one inside, and Claxon moves ahead 2-0. Starting pitcher v. starting pitcher. And so far against one another, it's been 2 walks. Claxon fouls this one off on what might have been ball 3. That pitch looked low, and Claxon tried to scrape it off the shoe top. It's 2-1. Ludwig walked Claxon in the first. Claxon returned the favor on a 4-pitch walk in the second. Nice breaking ball from Ludwig to freeze Claxon, and it's 2-2 here. Rannells on deck with 1 out in the bottom of the third, and Georgetown with that 3 spot in the bottom of the first with the only scoring. Claxon golfs one into shallow left center, and that'll drop in for a base hit. Claxon will hold at first and bring up the aforementioned Cassie Rannells.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 13, Cassie Rannells.
Rannells 1 for 1 on the day. And a single in the first. Single in the first, reached second. And now tries to slap one down the left field line. It's stabbed in foul territory. Reynolds reached on a single, was trying to get to second. You get caught in a rundown out there, and that's when Barnett came home, was initially called out, but the call was overturned as the catcher for the Eagles, Mary Andres, was blocking the plate, did not give Barnett a clean path. Reynolds waves it through the cut fastball in the inner half, and it's 0-2. Reynolds was brought home in that first inning on a 2-run double from Peyton Bazier. Quickly 0-2. Bazier on deck. And well outside as Claxton dances off of first. Claxton not much of a running threat. He has just one stolen base on the season. Reynolds takes that breaking ball in the outer half and fights her way back. And it's now 2-2. Outfield playing pretty much straight away. A little bit of a shade toward the left field line from Jones out in left. And Reynolds slaps something right back to the mound. And the play at second, and that will be all as Claxton's retired on the fielder's choice, 1-6. And that will bring up Peyton Bazier.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 20, Peyton Bazier.
Bazier had that 2-run double to right center in the bottom of the first, capping the Tigers' 3-run first inning. So now it's Reynolds off of first as Bazier takes the first on the outer half for a strike. And should Bazier reach, Shelton would be to follow. Bazier slaps one towards center. A line drive is snared by Ward in center, and so the Tigers put some runners on base, but can't get anything to show for it, and Ludwig has settled down, keeping the Tigers at bay. We're through 3. It's still a 3-0 Georgetown lead. Kennedy Thompson steps in for the Eagles here in the top of the 4th as Midway has had trouble fighting through the offerings of Sarah Claxton on the day, as Claxton ahead of Thompson here. Claxton's allowed just 1 hit, 1 walk, and struck out 5 through the front 3. Thompson up to short. Tough play there for Shelton. That'll be an infield single for Kennedy Thompson there. Good effort by Shelton out at short. Took an awkward hop and hit off the heel of the glove. And Midway puts the lead runner on, just their 2nd hit of the game. And that'll bring up Madison Ludwig.
Eagles, number 26, Madison Ludwig.
Who drew the 4-pitch walk against Claxton to start the top of the 2nd, but was stranded there as Claxton followed with 3 straight strikeouts. Ludwig right at Bazier, and it's going to get over Bazier's head and go all the way to the wall. Those line drives are tough to gather, and Ludwig cruises into second. Thompson will go to third, and the Eagles quickly in business here in the top of the 4th, going aggressive early against Claxton. The 4th double on the season for Ludwig.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 18, Michaela McDowell.
And brings up McDowell, who was overwhelmed in her first at-bat and struck out. Now Tigers coach Thomas Thornton going to go out to the mound to talk to his ace. This is a regular thing Coach Thornton does, whether it's strategic or just try to settle his pitcher down, perhaps break up the momentum of the game, any which way you shake it. It's probably a combination of all three, really. But Coach Thornton just having a conversation with Claxton and Forish out there before McDowell steps in. But Midway working early against Claxton here in the 4th. The infield single from Thompson, and then that line drive right at Bezier. That is so tough for an outfielder when that ball is screaming right at you. You can't pick up the trajectory as well as a traditional fly ball, and Bezier just could not grab it. Just went over her glove and all the way to the center field wall. And so now Claxton in her first serious bit of trouble in this game as McDowell now steps in. Randalls has moved in some at second, really even between the bags. Barnett in tight at third as Claxton somehow missed that first pitch. Looked pretty good from our vantage point up behind. But instead it's 1-0. If you're McDowell here, you've got to be able to get that runner from third home, if anything. And McDowell late on the spinner. She couldn't pick up the rotation on the ball, and it's 1-1. Claxton with 5 strikeouts already, and she could really use one here. Shelton playing deep in the hole at short. This ball's fouled back and falls just below us, and it is 1-2. And Shelton playing deep, so ground ball to Shelton. The Tigers would concede the run, I would think, at third. If anything, Shelton would give the runner at third a look, but nevertheless, not a major concern. The Tigers will trade that run for an out. The 1-2 here for McDowell. On the outer half, just missing. Good pitch from Claxton, but a better eye from McDowell. And it's 2-2. Thompson at third, Ludwig at second. No outs here in the top of the 4th. On the outer half, McDowell shoots it through the right side. One runner score. It goes under the glove of West momentarily. That's going to allow the second run to score and make it 3-2 as McDowell drives in runs 4 and 5 on the season for herself and helps her team out. And that'll bring up Mary Andres at the plate. We might have a pinch runner for McDowell at first. The 2 runs home. And the Eagles chipping away at it, and there will be a pinch runner at first. It'll be Ashley Ward. Ward, a junior out of Lexington, normally an outfielder, but steps into this spot to run for McDowell at first. The threat remains for the Eagles. Nobody out, 2 runs in. And Andres steps in. She's 0 for 1. Pitch is high as Ward dances off of first. Myers playing in front anyway. Andre shows the bunt, kills it right in front of the plate. Forrest makes the play at first, and advancing to second is Ward. So Midway gets the tying run into scoring position. They'll give up the out to do so. And that brings in McKenna Talcott. Pitch on the lower half this time is in for a strike. Two runs in for the Eagles. Ward out at second, running for McDowell, who singled in both runs. And one out for Sarah Claxon. Fly ball out to right field. This is where the wind could play a factor. West has it in her tracks. Good throw to third, but Ward will get there, and there are two away with a runner at third. West made the right move going back initially, knowing that wind is such a factor out and right, but had that one all the way and a pretty good throw from her spot over to third, and that'll bring up Shelby Wilhite.
Shelby Wilhite.
Wilhite 0 for 1 so far today. Well out in front of the off speed. Look out down there, Richard. And if you go on GeorgetownCollegeAthletics.com and check out under the multimedia tab, check out that photo gallery. It links right to our photography from all of our athletic events, and those images brought to you by the fantastic Richard Davis. This ball fouled off to the screen. Richard won't have to worry about fielding that one. And it's quickly 0-2. Wilhite stepping in, looking for her first hit and first RBI of the season. Just her 5th game played. This ball popped up into foul territory down the first base line. Nobody will get it. And we'll do the 0-2 once more. And in that Bermuda triangle between West, Rannells, and Myers, and nobody could pull it in. And so Wilhite will live to see another pitch. Shelby Wilhite, the sophomore out of Frankfort, Kentucky, attended Franklin County High School. Trying to tie the game up here against Georgetown's ace. Slap down the first base line. We'll do it again. This is more of what we saw Midway doing in the first inning and much of the second inning against Claxon, just fighting pitches off, staying alive, continuing to make Claxon think and make Claxon work. The 1-2 again. Caught the inner half. Wilhite thought she was going to lean into that one, but Claxon catches the inner half, and the side is retired, but Midway has found their way back in it. Georgetown will try and answer as we head to the bottom of the 4th with the Tigers lead down to 1. Seven, 8, 9 for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 4th, with Georgetown hanging on to a 3-2 lead. Shelton, Forish, Fratangelo to go against Ludwig here in the 4th, who has settled down nicely after that helter-skelter first inning in which Georgetown took advantage of an extra situation and eventually put 3 runs on the board against Ludwig. Now the Eagles have gotten 2 back here in the top of the 4th, so it's the Tigers' turn to counter and try and give Claxon some more breathing room when she returns to the mound for the top of the 5th. Shelton misses that. Takes that one, I should say, in the dirt for a ball. Fights this one off the top of the screen. It's 1-1. Shelton lays off one in the dirt. They might appeal this down to first, and she did not go. And so it is 2-1 in favor of the Tiger shortstop. Wind starting to pick up again out towards right field as Andres can't frame that one on the outer half. It's 3-1. Shelton right back through the chute for the base hit. Got jammed down on the bat, but still was able to fight that one up the middle for the base knock and bring up Ella Forish.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 24, Ella Forish.
And I would be stunned here if Forish did not do anything other than lay down the bunt to move Shelton to second and bring up Fratangelo. And you already see Forish is showing the bunt and pulls it back, and it's ball one. Thompson coming in hard at third. Forish swinging that time. Fouls it back. 1-1. We'll see if the bunt comes back on now with the count even. Forish does have one sacrifice on the season. Showing the bunt this time, a little late getting it down, and it's 1-2. Coach Thornton in the background telling Forish just focus on her job. And originally that was to get Shelton over to second. I would not think the bunt would be on at this point with the 1-2, and it's not, and it's off the plate anyway, and it's 2-2. Fratangelo on deck. She has some power in that bat. That could play a factor. She's able to lift one towards right field as the wind has picked up. Forish fights that one off in the inner half, and we'll do the 2-2 once more. Love that encouragement from Coach Thornton down there at third. And Forish's original job to put down the bunt, couldn't get that done, but now she's going to hammer one. That is smoked down the left field line, and it is a foul ball. Landed right at the base of the wall. Just missing extra bases. Boy, I thought that ball was out of here at first. And now we'll have to reload here on the 2-2. That's as solid a contact as we've had all day long for either side. Forish on the 2-2, frozen by the nasty breaking ball in the outer half. That is a spectacular pitch from Ludwig to retire Forish and bring up Fratangelo.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 22, Maria Fratangelo.
Fratangelo 0 for 1 thus far today. First pitch on the outer half as Shelton trots back to first. Flag flapping rather strong down the right field line. Again, if Fratangelo can turn on one, she might get some help from the wind. Late strike call, and it is 1-1. Fratangelo fights an inner ball in the inner half, a cut fastball back to the screen. It's 1-2. One out in the bottom of the fourth. Kaylin Barnett stands on deck. And now time will be called as Coach Thornton will have a conversation with Fratangelo before the 1-2 pitch. As you can see just on the left side of your screen. You might have also called time as an ambulance is going right behind us here at the complex. Ludwig ready with the 1-2. Trying to get that outer half, not there, and we're even here. Shelton remains on first after that single back up the middle that Ludwig could not snare. On the outer half for Tangelo, frozen this time as it just nicked the corner for the third strike, and back-to-back strikeouts now for Ludwig, and that's a big one given that Barnett has come in now, and Barnett is 2 for 2 already. 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. Double to right center, and then double down the left field line. This ball in the outer half, and not a surprise there to see Ludwig work away from Barnett on the first pitch. If Barnett puts another one into the gap, Shelton has plenty of speed to score from first. Barnett takes one on the inner half. Barnett really crowding that inner half with the plate. Strike call still made there. Interesting to see here from where I'm at how far up in the box Barnett is toward Ludwig. Barnett takes the off-speed pitch to right center. It's tailing away. It's into the gap again. Barnett all the way at the wall. Shelton's going to motor around to score, and Barnett with 2 doubles and now a triple. And it is 4-2 in favor of Georgetown as the wind caught that one, just took it away from Ward. Kept tracking and tracking away.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 2, Stevie Shepard.
And Barnett with another RBI. That was her second triple on the season. Stevie Shepard's in now and takes a strike on the inner half. The Georgetown gets one of the runs back it gave up in the top of the fourth. Shepard will try and get the second back. Tough play for Ward out in center. That ball's just off the outer half here. As it was looked like it was headed straight for Ward, and then the wind grabbed it. And so they said the wind's blowing straight out to right, and the ball just kept tailing away from Ward, and she could not gather it. Shepard up the middle. This is going to be a tough play. It'll be under the shortstop's glove or an infield single, and Barnett scores. I don't know that the shortstop Rhodes would have thrown Shepard out at first anyway, but Georgetown gets that second run back, and it's 5-2 here in the bottom of the fourth, and Mallory Myers looking to play add-on. Myers, a 2-hopper to short. The much more routine play this time is made at short by Rhodes, and the side is retired. Shelton with a single, Barnett with a triple, and then the single to follow by Shepard. Georgetown 2 more on the board. We're headed to the 5th with a 5-2 Georgetown lead. Top of the 5th, and Carly Jones will step in. Jones 1 for 1 of the day against Sarah Claxton. As the Eagles will now look to get back the 2 runs they just gave up in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
Carly Jones.
Big day thus far for Kaylin Barnett. 2 doubles and a triple. Spearheading the Tigers offense to a 5-2 lead as Claxton goes to work here in the top of the 5th. And Claxton misses on the first offering. Jones, Albert, and Rhodes set to face Claxton as Georgetown's number 1 starter delivers pitch number 70 on the day. Took something off of it, and a shallow ball to center. Peyton Bazier headed her tracks the entire way, and a quick out is recorded.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 15, Reagan Albert.
Reagan Albert steps in. Albert 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Claxton trying to work inside and again misses. She's been missing more and more going inside to right-handers as the game has gone on. She was working that inside corner early and often to start the game against the Eagles, but not thus far as the last couple of innings. Now trying to work the outer half and goes too far that way, and she's behind 2-0. Albert. High ball over to Barnett. Nice play by Kaylin Barnett on that high one hop. And the out is made over at first. 2 down. And that will bring up Katie Rhodes.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 11, Katie Rhodes.
Rhodes, like Albert I should say, 0-for against Claxton thus far. 2 outs here, top of the 5th. Claxton trying to work through a quick inning and nearly nicked Rhodes on the hip as that pitch came in. And once more, Claxton misses too far inside against the right-hander on the first offering. Solid single through the 5-hole for Rhodes. That'll bring up Kennedy Thompson.
Up to the plate for the
Singled
Eagles,
and
number
scored
12,
her last
Kennedy
time up.
Thompson.
Hit number 5 on the day for the Eagles against Claxton. Once more, Claxton working inside, gets the strike call this time. Throw down to second, and neither Shelton nor Randall's there. And Rhodes will have the stolen bag. Time is called there as that ball skipped up high. I don't know if Randall's caught some dirt in the eye there or what have you. It looks like she's okay. 1-1 is the count. Now Rhodes is off a second with her 3rd stolen base of the season. Thompson fighting one towards shallow right, but Randalls is there to retire the side. So no threat. Runner left on base. Georgetown heads to the bottom of the 5th with a 5-2 lead. Sarah Claxton going to try and help her own cause, I should say, out here in the bottom of the 5th with Georgetown leading 5-2. Claxton's already reached twice today. It'll be Claxton, Randalls, and Bezier to work against Ludwig on the mound. All of the batters in this due up here in the bottom of the 5th have base hits thus far in the day as Ludwig fires a heater on the inner half to get ahead. Off the outer half, it's 1-1. Wind has settled down to a certain degree, still blowing straight down the right field line. Claxton goes down to first base, and it's off the first baseman's glove, but right over to the second baseman, Talcott, for the putout. We'll go 3-4-3 in the scorer's book on the putout, but nevertheless, the play is made. And Claxton is retired. It'll bring up Cassie Reynolds.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 13, Cassie Reynolds.
Reynolds 1 for 2 on the day. Pokes one down the left field line, out of play. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Game 2 will take place roughly 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. We'll have both the games here on this one stream here on the Georgetown Tigers YouTube channel. Ludwig gets the call. And Ludwig gets ahead 1-2. Good framing behind the plate. Mary Andres behind the plate doing a nice job to snag that one and show the umpire it caught the outer half. The 1-2 to Reynolds. Goes inside, and Reynolds fights that one towards the Midway dugout. Peyton Bazier on deck. Of course, Bazier had that big 2-run double in the bottom of the first that got the Georgetown offense out to that 3-0 lead before each team traded 2 runs in the fourth. Reynolds takes this one high, and we're even at 2-2. One out, bottom 5. Reynolds waves at one a foot off the outside half. And Ludwig has the strikeout. It'll bring up Peyton Bazier.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 20, Peyton Bazier.
Third strikeout for Ludwig on the day. As I mentioned, Bazier with that 2-run double in the first, her only hit. Takes something off, a check swing out to short, and Rhodes makes the play over at first, and the side is retired. So Ludwig, after a 2-run fourth, quickly through the Tiger order in the bottom of the 5th. We head to the 6th. Sarah Claxton back to the mound, looking to protect a 5-2 lead.
Leading off for the Eagles, number 26, Madison Ludwig.
Ludwig now to step in. Ludwig has reached in each of her first 2 at-bats against Claxton. Walked in the second and doubled in the fourth, and was the second run driven home by Michaela McDowell that got the Eagles on the board. Claxton asking where she missed on that one. That was, I guess, low. And it's 2-0. This ball pops straight up towards second, and Reynolds has it for the first out.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 18, Michaela McDowell.
And McDowell steps in. She had brought home 2 runs in the fourth with a single toward right field, scoring both Thompson and Ludwig to get Midway on the board and bring the Eagles briefly within 1. Fights that ball back to the screen. Jackson taking a moment there. I think she might have got a little dirt up in the eye, so she'll make sure that's taken care of before the next offering. That ball's fouled back, and it's 0-2. Jackson twice working inside, and McDowell's not been able to catch up. See if Claxton tries to go inside once more, maybe go up the chute a little bit. See if she can get McDowell to chase a high heater. Instead, she'll try and go away with one. McDowell, no chance at that, and it's 1-2. Claxton goes inside, and McDowell waves right through it for the strikeout, and there are now 2 down. The 7th strikeout for Claxton on the day.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 45, Mary Andrus.
Mary Andrus steps in. Claxton trying to make quick work of the order here in the 6th. As Andres takes the high one for a ball. Andres a day late on the outside fastball. And she was expecting one on the inner half because Claxton's been working so much to the inner half 2 right-handers today. That time a well-timed outside fastball evens the count. That ball will be off the netting, and it is 1-2. This will be the 88th pitch of the day for Claxton. And at this point for the Tigers, nobody warming up in the bullpen. This is Claxton's game. Trying to close out the top of the 6th. And Andres fights it back. Claxton says, I got this. One more attempt at a clean inning. And we'll do it again. Andres fouls another one back. This will be pitch number 90 for Claxton. Allowed 2 runs on 5 hits. Both runs earned. Check swing down the third baseline as Andres well out in front. Claxton tried to go high. Umpire said she missed inside. And it's 2-2. The first time we've seen Claxton go up the ladder against Andres in this at-bat. She's been primarily working down around the knees. the 2-2. And we'll do it again. Good battle here between Claxton and Andres. Some players on the Midway bench pleased with themselves. I believe they caught the ricochet off the netting. Maybe some style points they keep in their locker room. 2-2 once again. Claxton nails the inside corner, and Andres knew it. The 8th strikeout for Sarah Claxton. She's through 6. Georgetown leading Midway 5-2. Ashley Shelton to get things going in the bottom of the 6th for Georgetown. Shelton singled her last time up and scored on a Kaylin Barnett triple. Wind's starting to pick up once again. Shelton fires that one off down the first baseline and out of play, and it's 1-1. That ball misses. It's 2-1. Not there on that offering, and it's 3-1. Ella Forish scheduled to bat next, and in the on-deck circle. Shelton fouls that one off right back to Forish. A full count delivery now coming from Ludwig. And Shelton, a liner. Nice diving stab at shortstop by Katie Rhodes. Read it all the way. That first step was impeccable to record the first out as that ball was dying the entire way headed towards her.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 24.
Getting such a good read off the bat made the difference there for Rhodes. Had that ball hit the ground, Shelton would have cruised to first. Instead, it brings up Ella Forish with nobody on. She'll take the first pitch on the inside. That is a spectacular play from Rhodes out at shortstop. To go to her right like that and catch a ball that was headed towards the dirt the whole way and get it. Very impressive. Forish now sends one up the chute out to right field, and it's easily taken in by Albert, and there are 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 4, Kylie West.
And Kylie West will now step in to the spot where Fratangelo previously was. West has been out in the field all day in right. She'll now bat for Fratangelo in the 9 spot in the order. West on the season at the plate is just 1 for 12. She'll get an opportunity here to try and get a late rally started with Kaylin Barnett waiting on deck. And you have to think Barnett is pulling out all the stops in her hopes that West can reach base here, given how hot Barnett has been today with 2 doubles and a triple. West will face Ludwig for the first time. Right down the middle. Not a surprise there, given West has not seen a live pitch from Ludwig. Take the first one. Get an idea for the motion and also the spin on the ball. She'll take one on the inner half as Ludwig took something off with the change. West fights one off to the screen, and it's 1-2. The 1-2 to West. Off the outer half. Andres trying to frame that one. Wasn't going to be there. West out to short. Rhodes has been spectacular all day at short and makes the routine play look just that. We head to the 7th. Midway needing 3 runs to keep this game going. Claxton will try and close it out. McKenna Talcott stepping in as Midway trying to extend this game. They'll need at least 3 runs here in the inning to do it. And the first pitch is fouled back and out of play. Claxton takes something off, gets a high strike call. Don't think Talcott liked that one, but in either case, it's quickly 0-2. And Claxton gets the call on the outer half. Just continues to control things. It's their 9th strikeout of the game, and now Wilhite steps in, who has already struck out twice.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 5, Shelby Wilhite.
Wilhite, one hopper right in front of Barnett, and that is easy. 2 down. I'll bring up Carly Jones, the last hope for the Eagles. As Claxton is quickly ahead, 0-1. Pitch low and inside. Wind picking up the strongest it's been all day. Pitch number 100 for Claxon. Misses low. Two one now coming to Jones. 2 out here in the top of the 7th. And now make it 2-2. Claxon trying to finish it off. Her 10th strikeout indeed seals the deal as Georgetown picks up the win here in game number 1 by a 5-2 final. Sarah Claxon improves to 7-2 on the season. Madison Ludwig takes the loss. She drops to 6-3. Some of the final numbers on the other side of this brief pause. Game 2 of our doubleheader here in Georgetown between the Tigers and the Midway Eagles. Just about set to get underway. The teams, as you can see, in their final preparation by the dugouts. Coaches exchanging the lineups at home plate. Tigers coming off of a 5-2 win in Game 1, in which Sarah Claxon was spectacular once more, going the distance, giving up just 2 runs, striking out 10, and only allowing 5 hits against a Midway team who would come into the day hitting over 300 as a group. Kelsey Hill in her last outing against Weber International 6 days ago went 5 2/3, gave up 8 hits and 2 runs, walked 2, and also picked up the win in Georgetown's 7-5 win over Weber International to close out their week in Florida. And so Hill takes the mound now. And again, here is your Destiny Wallace in right field. And so leading off for Midway is Reagan Albert, who went over 3 with a strikeout against Sarah Claxon in Game 1. Albert came in to the doubleheader today, batting .281. That average now closer to the .250 line after an 0-for-3 outing in Game 1. So Midway looking for the sweep, Midway looking for the split, I should say. Georgetown looking for the sweep as Hill's first offering is high, and we are underway. The Tigers looking for their 14th win on the season, trying to get to 14-10. Midway with a split would go to 10-6 on the campaign. That pitch is on the outer half for a strike, and there's Kelsey Hill getting herself into things. 4 straight wins for the Tigers entering the second game of this doubleheader. Really good momentum off of a very successful trip down to Florida, in which the Tigers went 3-1, a seeing eye single into left, and Albert finds her way on. Georgetown lost the first one in Florida to Warner 7-6, and then bounced back with a 5-2 win over Warner, then beat Avila 2-1, and then, as I mentioned, Weber International by a score of 7-5. And then taking the opener here today against Midway 5-2. So Katie Rhodes will step in now, and Fratangelo can't get the ball to catch the outer half. It's 1-0. Rhodes went 1-for-3 in the opener today. Hill trying to work inside and misses that way, and it's 2-0. Kennedy Thompson on deck. A couple of minor changes for Midway in their lineup here today, but the top of the order is still the same as Game 1. And Hill gets the strike call. Ball popped out of the glove of Fratangelo. She was trying to hop out of her stance, thinking that Albert might take off for second. Waving through this offering is Rhodes, and it's now 2-2. The 2-2 for Hill. And just in front of that, and it'll be off the top of the Tigers' dugout and out of play. We'll try the 2-2 again to Katie Rhodes. Hill gets Rhodes waving at one in the dirt, and the first out is recorded.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 12, Kennedy Thompson.
Kennedy Thompson now stepping into the plate. On the outer half, Hill misses low. Cue shot to Shelton at short. They'll go the short route, get the out at second, and it'll be 2 down. 6-4 on the fielder's choice. And so that'll put Thompson down at first. And we'll bring on the losing pitcher from game 1, Madison Ludwig.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 26, Madison Ludwig.
Ludwig, the DP in this game, as is Sarah Claxton on the Georgetown side. A pitch on the inner half. Too far on the inner half. Hill tries to work the outer half and can't do it. Apologize here, we're in a technical issue here. Trying to get that sorted out for you. That pitch on the inner half, and it's 2-1. He'll work in the inner half again. This is not up, shallow ball, and Bazier makes a basket catch in center. Great hustle from Peyton Bazier as Reynolds was not going to be able to get there, but Bazier kept her footing, tracked the ball all the way into the glove for the third out. So an early runner on base, nothing to show for the Eagles. Georgetown coming to bat in the bottom of the first. God, I hate this. Kaylin Barnett looks to continue her hot run here today. 2 doubles and a triple in game 1. And she'll face Sarah Jo Calhoun.
Leading off for the Tigers, 0-0, Kaylin Barnett.
Calhoun on the season, 3-1 with a 1.75 ERA, has allowed just 6 runs in 24 innings pitched. It's her 7th appearance on the mound this season. Barnett waits on the slow one, right to shortstop, and that has been a vacuum all day long for Katie Rhodes. 1 pitch, 1 out. And Georgetown going aggressive early there as they did against Ludwig in game 1 today. Stevie Shepard now steps in. See if she goes aggressive early. She offered on the first pitch against Ludwig earlier. This one won't have to worry about that as it bounces in front of the plate. Another off-speed pitch. Unable to be framed behind the plate. Behind the plate in this game, Kyra McCall for Midway. Another off-speed pitch, and Shepard gets a piece of it. Two balls and a strike. Another off speed, and Shepard stays behind the ball this time, and a solid single up the middle. And so Stevie Shepard trying to get some more first inning magic going for the Tigers as they scored 3 in the bottom of the first of game 1 and never looked back en route to the 5-2 win. Mallory Myers now stepping on. Led Georgetown in batting coming into today at .381. She went 0 for 3 in game 1. Trying to get a running start at that pitch, and it's outside for a ball. Shepard over at first. 3 stolen bases. She's 3 for 4 on the year. Should she try and take second? Myers again running at it, and again it's outside. It's 2-0. Calhoun staying with the off-speed stuff here. Another one. Again, I think the way Myers is aggressively going towards the front end of the box, I think it's bothering Calhoun here just a bit, as Calhoun has missed wide on all 3 of her offerings to Myers thus far. This one well high and inside, and a 4-pitch walk will send Shepard down to second and bring up Sarah Claxon.
To the plate for the Tigers, number 32, Sarah Claxon.
Claxon went 1 for 2 with a walk in the first game, also scored a run. Also the winning pitcher. Her 7th complete game of the season, and Calhoun spins one on the inner half for a strike. Claxon off the outer half of the bat. Rhodes turned the glove to the backhand and gets the force out at third. Everybody else is safe, and there are 2 down. Smart move there by Rhodes to go the short route. Not take the short route at third. Not sure she would have been able to get Claxon at first, as Midway tried to turn the double play. Couldn't do it. Cassie Rannells now in for the Tigers at the plate. 1 for 3 with a run scored in game 1 today. Georgetown trying to get something across here and get an early lead for Kelsey Hill. And now a double steal, and safe at third is Mallory Myers. Boy, that ball beat her down there. Oh, Thompson just tagged Myers up on the knee, whatever the case may be. It's now second and third there on what should have been the final out of the inning. Myers looked almost hesitant to slide there. Almost as if it was, she thought it was a hit and run call, which you would not do with 2 out. Instead, it's a double steal. Spinner in there as Calhoun continues to work the off-speed stuff. And it's one ball and 2 strikes. Check that 1-1. On the outer half, it's 2 wide. It's 2-1. Rannells waves at one as Calhoun finally brought the heat, and the high one too tempting to lay off, and it's 2-2. Myers at third, Claxon at second with 2 out in the bottom of the first. Jones playing very deep in left field, as Rannells does like to slap the ball the opposite way. This one won't be an option as it's in the dirt, and we'll go full. The 3-2 to Rannells. Rannells stays behind it and slaps it into right center field. 2 runs are going to score as Rannells has a long single, and Georgetown again making work in the bottom of the first. And it is 2-0. Peyton Bazier will step in next. And getting a word from both Myers and Claxton to sit back as Calhoun does not have the same type of heat on her pitches as does Madison Ludwig in game 1. Much more of the off-speed stuff from Calhoun thus far. It's an interesting contrast from Ludwig as Calhoun gets the strike there, especially given that the Tigers had prepared for Ludwig in game 1 the way they have, and to see a pitcher behind Ludwig go completely different with her approach, it can sometimes take you some time to get adjusted. As Bazier hits that one off the end of the bat and the easy force at second to retire the side. But 2 more runs in the first inning, and Georgetown with an early lead over Midway. The catcher in game 2, Kyra McCall, to lead things off here in the second against Kelsey Hill. McCall on the season in 8 games is 5 for 19 at .263 batting average. And Kelsey Hill back to work on the mound. Gave up 1 hit in the top of the first, 15 pitches to get through the inning. And McCall well out in front of the first offering from the freshman Hill, and she falls behind. Pop up right to Hill, and she'll take it herself for the first out.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 7, Carly Jones.
Carly Jones to follow now. Was in the 9 spot in game 1. Up to the 6th spot here for the second. And Hill fires a heater well high. Jones, line drive, and Wallace can't get it in right. Good effort out there by Wallace. A solid single for Carly Jones. Landed right in front of Wallace as she tried for the diving stab. Could not get it.
Number 4, Taylor Duquette.
Taylor Duquette steps in. Junior infielder. Did not play in game 1. And on the season, in now her 6th game, she's 1 for 10 at the plate with a couple of walks. Does not have a sacrifice on the season. Not sacrificing here. A line drive past Rannells into center field. And Midway puts another runner on. And now Hill in an early bind.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 52, Mallory McDowell.
The first baseman, Mallory McDowell, steps in. Freshman out of Nicholasville. And by the records I have, this is McDowell's first at-bat of the season. Clutch spot here, and she fouls it back to the screen. And it's 1-1. Jones out at second. Ducate over at first. And Kelsey Hill about to throw her 24th pitch. Well outside, and it's 2-1. Hill has been missing with the fastball here early on. Got to bring something here for McDowell. And McDowell chases out the high heat, and that is back near the Georgetown bullpen, and it's 2-2. Big pitch here for Hill. Trying to get that second out. And get one step closer towards negating the Eagles' threat here in the top of the second. Well off the outside edge, and we'll go full. Ashley Ward is on deck. And that is ball four. Hill missing low and away. And Coach Thornton going to go to the mound to talk to his freshman right-hander. With the bases loaded, Ashley Ward stepping in. She pinch ran in game one. Was in the game for defensive purposes in the flex spot in center field. But she'll bat here against Hill in a big spot. The bases loaded, one out in top of the second, and Midway trailing 2-0 on the season at the plate. Ward is just 3 for 13 with 3 strikeouts. And for Tangelo with an extra word for the freshman Kelsey Hill on the mound. A little bit of activity in the Tigers bullpen. It's Georgetown trying to bring Kelsey Hill along as she's in the infancy of her college career.
To the plate for the Eagles, number 3, Ashley Ward.
And now Ward will step in, the junior out of Lexington, graduate of Lafayette High School. With the Eagles threatening, and she'll put down the bunt. That's going to be caught by Barnett on the fly. And everyone will retreat back to the bag. Well, an interesting decision there from the Midway staff to try to ask Ward to put a bunt down in a squeeze situation. But Ward does not execute the bunt.
Number 15, Reagan Albert.
Albert turns the lineup over. Singled in the first. Takes the fastball low. Most of the misses for Hill thus far with the heater have been low. That one is high, and Albert checks the swing, and she is quickly ahead 2-0. Nowhere to put it, Albert. Be a huge confidence lift for Hill if she could get out of this inning without allowing any runs across. She'll get the call in the inner half with the fastball. It's 2-1. These are the things you just got to work through young in your career. How do you handle the adversity? Hill was 1 strike away from getting out of it. As that ball stung the hand of Albert, and she was out in front of the off speed. The 2-2. Sky to center field, but playable. Bezier is there, and Kelsey Hill gets out of the bases-loaded jam. Midway puts 3 on with 1 out and comes away with nothing. Great work by the freshman Hill. Georgetown will try and help her out with the bats in the bottom of the second. Seven, 8, 9 for the Tigers in the bottom of the second. Ashley Shelton to lead things off, followed by Maria Fratangelo and then Destiny Wallace. 2-0, Georgetown leads as they face Sarah Jo Calhoun for the second time. Shelton sits back on one, pops it out toward right field, but an easy play there for Albert for the first out. Shelton sitting back on it, but unable to do anything of significance with it. And now Maria Fratangelo. Fratangelo, second on the team with 3 home runs, trails only Kaylin Barnett, who has 4. It'll be hard to try to put some power into these swings with the slower offerings from Calhoun on the mound. Fratangelo trying to sit back on it, foul territory, and Rhodes, a nice running catch into foul territory. Katie Rhodes just covering everything on the left side of the infield. Boy, an impressive player Katie Rhodes is at short, and very quickly it's 2 down. Destiny Wallace now on for the Tigers. 174 average on the season. She'll take the first offering from Calhoun low. Another one short of the plate, and Wallace moves ahead 2-0. Barnett waiting on deck. Should Wallace reach? Calhoun comes with the heat as she's behind 2-0 and gets the outside edge. Wallace, routine ground to the third, and no problems here in the second for Sarah Jo Calhoun. A rapid inning retires the Tigers in order. We're headed to the top of the third. It was a shaky start to the second inning for Kelsey Hill as she loaded the bases with only one out, but then induced a couple of routine plays to end the inning and get out of the threat. Katie Rhodes steps in, 0 for 1 thus far at the plate. She's made some fine defensive plays for the Eagles all day long. And now she pops one down the left field line. Shepard retreating all the way back to the warning track and has it for the first out. Rhodes gave it a ride, but not much help from the wind. And Shepard made that play look routine, a step in front of the fence in left field.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 12, Kennedy Thompson.
Kennedy Thompson now steps in. I'm sure Hill would love a very quick inning the same way Calhoun just turned one in the bottom of the second. That won't help. Hill brought that left shoulder well through before the right arm could follow and fired that back to the fence. Perfect on the inner half this time, freezing Thompson with the fastball. It's 1-1 the count. Another one misses high and wide. And 2-1. Hill putting some dirt on the hand, perhaps feeling like the ball's slipping out just a bit as she comes through with the release. And this one hits Thompson, and so a runner is on. So that'll bring up Ludwig.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 26, Madison Ludwig.
Ludwig takes one right down the heart of the plate. Thompson, down at first, is 3 for 4 on stolen attempts on the season. This is the 16th game, so not a major threat to run. This Midway team, not a big threat in general. Entered the day-to-day with just 17 stolen bases on 21 tries on the season. 1-1 the count now. Ludwig in the dirt. Nice job by Fratangelo to gather that one up as Thompson had eyes on second. So it's 2-1. Another one low and inside. He'll grab a little more dirt for those fingertips. The 3-1 to Madison Ludwig. And Ludwig will chop one foul and will go full. Three-two for Hill. Got the outside corner. Ludwig doesn't like it. She was headed down to first. But a great job of painting that outside edge by Hill. And there are two down.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 50, Kyra McCall.
McCall now steps in. Fights one off toward first, spins right to Mallory Myers, and the side is retired. And so the hit by pitch results in nothing for the Eagles as Kelsey Hill keeps Midway scoreless as we head to the bottom of the third. Top of the order for Georgetown to face Sarah Jo Calhoun, who needed less than 10 pitches to get through the second inning. As the Tigers were aggressive early going against Calhoun, who's relied mostly on her off-speed stuff here today and used the fastball to try and keep the Tigers honest. Barnett to lead things off. On the outer half, and Georgetown still having a bit of difficulty right now consistently picking up that spin off the hand of Calhoun. Barnett's 0 for 1. Up on the very front edge of the batter's box. And even that one bounces short for Barnett's liking. It's 1-1. It's not a bad idea, though, as Calhoun continues to work the off-speed stuff to get up toward the front of the plate before that ball really takes a dive towards the dirt. And Barnett sat back on one, but lined it right to Jones in left field for the first out. Solid contact continues for the Tigers when they put it in play. There's just been a number of instances where the Eagles have been perfectly placed defensively as Stevie Shepard now steps in. Shepard 1 for 1 on the day. Takes the ball to start this at-bat. Shepard taking all the way as that pitch came in a little higher than what Calhoun has been delivering, but dropped right on the inner half to even the count. Shepard, line drive right at Rhodes. A little hop this time. The throw is still there. That's the most unsure of herself Katie Rhodes has looked at shortstop all day long, and she's still made the play with plenty of time over to first, and that leaves it up to Mallory Myers to keep the inning going. Just continue to be impressed with the footwork, and that time with the concentration from Katie Rhodes to stay with it and still have plenty on the arm to retire Shepard, who is a good runner. Myers steps in. Myers walked in the first. And she's been charging out towards Calhoun in both at-bats. It's 1-1. I still think that first at-bat intimidated Calhoun a bit, seeing Myers coming at her as the ball was coming to the plate. See Myers dance forward again, and there it is, and a slapper right up the middle. Solid single for Mallory Myers. She's going to try to push it to second, and not there. Not a good decision from Myers to try to force that in. It'll be a single and then recorded out at second, and so the Tigers' potential threat toward the end of the third is wiped out as Myers got aggressive, perhaps too aggressive, and we head through three and now on to the fourth with Georgetown leading 2-0. Carly Jones to lead things off here in the top of the fourth, facing Kelsey Hill, who has needed just 45 pitches to get through the first 3 innings. Has faced some adversity. Remember, loaded the bases back in the second. A couple of runners on, or excuse me, one runner on in the third, but Hill worked right through it and delivers an inside fastball to Jones, taking all the way to start the top of the fourth. 3 hits for Midway thus far. Georgetown with the same, but the Tigers scratch those 2 runs across in the bottom of the first off Sarah Jo Calhoun as Jones sends one a mile high to left, but Shepard tracking all the way makes it look easy and left for the first out. Really the first time we've seen a Midway player try and get underneath the ball and try and lift one toward the skies. A very faint wind still blowing out toward right field, not nearly as strong as it was for the latter half of game 1. Kelsey Hill delivers the first pitch to Taylor Duquette, and it's low. Georgetown looking for the sweep. Would be 5 wins in a row for the Tigers ahead of the weekend. Georgetown slated to take on Thomas More this weekend right here in Georgetown. There is a lot of rain projected for the area this weekend as well, so the schedule may change. Make sure you stay tuned to GeorgetownCollegeAthletics.com and all of our social media platforms for any and all schedule updates should things get moved around this weekend with the, for now, forecast of a lot of rain on Friday and Saturday, but we'll see what happens as we get closer towards the end of the week. Hill gets that call, and it's 3-1. Scheduled to be a 4-game series against Thomas More, but only 3 of those games will be counted towards the conference standings. And if rain alters things, it might get taken down to a eventual 3-game series as that ball is fought off and out of play by Duquette. And it's now 3-2. After the series against Thomas More, the Tigers will take most of next week off before they head to Campbellsville to begin the month of April as Duquette works a walk with 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Now to bring up Mallory McDowell.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 52, Mallory McDowell.
Pitch number 54 coming for Kelsey Hill. And Hill misses wide, not wanting to challenge McDowell, at least with the first offering. Duquette down at first has not attempted a stolen base in limited action this season. McDowell slaps one down the left field line and out of play. Hill misses just off the outer half. Boy, a tough break there for the freshman, and it's 2-1. Carly Jones on deck for the Eagles as Hill misses even further wide, and it's now 3-1. Hill trying to avoid issuing her 3rd walk of the day, and now Fratangelo is going to come out and talk to her freshman right-hander. I like the fact that Coach Thomas Thornton allows his catchers the freedom to work with the pitchers directly, putting a lot of trust in the catching tandem of Ella Forish and now Maria Fratangelo. Fratangelo really a commanding presence behind the plate. Also setting up the defensive alignment is 3-1 from Hill. And McDowell's right at Bazier in center for the 2nd out. When McDowell had solid contact, but another ball in this game, it's been hit hard but directly at a defender, and it's easily retired for out number 2.
Number 3, Ashley Ward.
Ashley Ward will come on. She tried laying down a squeeze bunt with the bases loaded in the 2nd inning and popped it up to Barnett. And what was the 2nd out? As Hill was able to escape that bases loaded jam. Now a ball in the dirt. Fratangelo down to 2nd. A perfect throw, but a great slide out at second by Duquette to go to the outside portion of the bag and take the base on Fratangelo. Not much more Fratangelo could do on that. A really strong throw, but a better slide out at second. And so now a runner in scoring position for Ward. On the inner half, it's taken for a strike. One and one, and an opportunity for Ward. Bazier playing shallow in center. That pitch is high and wide, and Hill falls behind again. Pitch number 62 on the way for the freshman. Ground ball right back to Hill. Pitch number 63. He'll be out number 3 in the 4th inning. So again, Midway puts another runner on, and again, Hill works around it. We're through 4.5. Headed to the bottom of the 4th, I should say. Tigers still up 2-0. Sarah Claxton will lead things off in the bottom of the 4th for the Tigers as they continue to hold on to a 2-0 lead. And they'll work once more against Sarah Calhoun, who has given up 2 runs on 3 hits, just 33 pitches through 3 innings, as the Tigers continue to be aggressive early against the right-hander. And Claxton does it again. Just such a contrast from Ludwig, as Calhoun not bringing near the same amount of speed. And I think it's what's enticing the Tigers to go at these pitches early. But Calhoun has been able to locate. She's been able to have good spin on the ball, and it's kept the Tigers off balance. Calhoun gets Claxton to foul another one off as that was spinning away, and Claxton again caught it off the end of the bat. Not seen very many balls for Georgetown that have been squared up. Claxton offers it another one and got a tip on it. Stays 0-2. Claxton will be followed by Reynolds and Bazier. Reynolds brought home both Claxton and Mallory Myers in the first, as Claxton sends one right up the elevator shaft, and it's fielded cleanly by McCall for the first out. There you see what I'm talking about. Calhoun just consistently working away, and that pitch is so enticing coming in. It is hard to lay off, but by the time it arrives at the bat, it's away from on the outer half, and you just can't get it squared up. Now Reynolds steps in. Reynolds is one of the few that's been able to put solid contact on a ball. She shows bunt and takes a strike on the outer half. A backdoor slide piece from Calhoun that time to get the strike call. It woke Thompson up down at third. Now Thompson's ready to charge in if Reynolds tries to do that again. Reynolds lays off one just low. No bunt showed that time for the Tigers' second baseman. Right before the pitch, Reynolds calls for time, and it is granted. See if that messes with Calhoun a little bit there. And that's the umpire's discretion to grant time on a sequence like that right before the pitch got delivered. And gets the strike call on the outer half. Again, I think Reynolds is looking for something middle in as she can drive. Calhoun's been working the outside very well thus far here in the fourth. She'll go with the fastball this time. It's too wide, and it's 2-2. And Calhoun kind of pitching backwards from your traditional slinger on the mound and using her fastball really as her quote-unquote off-speed pitch, if you will. Again, goes with the breaking ball, and it's now 3-2. Peyton Bazier on deck. Reynolds waves at the high one, and Calhoun gets the strikeout. That's her first strikeout of the game. It brings up Bazier with 2 down in the bottom of the fourth.
To the plate for the Tigers, number 20, Peyton Bazier.
Bazier 0 for 1 so far. And again, that left foot nearly on the outside of the batter's box. And again, every Tigers batter has been doing this, trying to crowd the front end of the box to try to catch one spinning before that final break. Does help that the lines around the batter's boxes are virtually gone at this point as Bazier sends one sky high into center field, and another routine inning for Sarah Jo Calhoun. She's needed just 45 pitches to get through 4 innings, but Kelsey Hill still holds the upper hand. We go to the 5th with Georgetown leading Midway 2-0. Top of the order for the Eagles here in the top of the 5th.
Leading off for the Eagles, number 15,
Reagan Albert
Reagan
to step
Albert.
in. 1 for 2 against Kelsey Hill on the day. Hill's thrown 62 pitches through 4 innings. Given up 3 hits, 2 walks. She struck out 2. Midway has had to make Hill work for her outs in this game, no doubt about it, but the freshman has responded every time thus far. First pitch of the 5th is low and inside to Albert. Hill tries to work inside, a little too far in, and it's now 2-0. This has been a challenging spot for Hill. Falling behind to the leadoff batter is what's allowed Midway to threaten in this game. And that is a strike. A rather faint call from the home plate umpire that time. But nevertheless, Hill back into the at-bat at 2-1. Hill brings the heat and does catch the inside piece that time. It's 2-2. Good battle back from the freshman. Continues to grab dirt for those fingertips. Although with the way she delivered those last two, I can't blame her. She goes back to it a third time. Misses that one, though, and we'll go full. Katie Rhodes on deck. Wind picking up once more out toward right. The 3-2, and Albert pulling out that front foot. Was never going to catch up to that ball in the dirt, and Hill has her third strikeout, beg your pardon, and now we'll face Rhodes.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 11, Katie Rhodes.
Rhodes is 0 for 2 with a strikeout thus far against Hill. Pitch number 70 coming now from Hill. It'll be a grounder to third, and Barnett with no problem, and that's the second out of the inning. Brings up Kennedy Thompson. And the first pitch whipped in there on the outer half. Thompson was never going to be able to negotiate that anyway. And just let it go for an opening strike. Hill trying to put up her 5th scoreless inning of the day. And this should do it. Fly ball left center. Bezier underneath it the entire way. And Kelsey Hill continues to deliver for Georgetown. Still just 3 hits allowed, but most importantly, no runs on the board for Midway. Georgetown leads this pitcher's duel 2-0, headed to the bottom of the 5th. Seven, 8, 9 for Georgetown here in the bottom of the 5th. Ashley Shelton to lead things off, followed by Fratangelo and Wallace, as the Tigers have not been able to break through since the first inning against Sarah Jo Calhoun. Georgetown has mustered just 1 hit since that first inning. It was a single by Mallory Myers back in the 3rd. But that has been all for the Tigers offense since that 2-run first. Shelton takes another slow spinner for a strike. Shelton will poke this one down the right field line. That's a fair ball down the first base line, and Shelton will have the base knock and wisely hold at first, but putting it in play, and that's what you got to do at this point. It'll bring up Fratangelo. Maria's 0 for 1 thus far on the day, and we'll see now with the way the offense has been going if the Georgetown staff elects to go small ball here and ask Fratangelo to put the bunt down and turn things over to Destiny Wallace in the 9 spot. Shelton has good speed out at first. Fratangelo puts the bunt down. It'll spin foul. Pretty good offering out of it. Had that stayed fair. Fratangelo had more than a fair shot to beat that out for a bunt single, but too much English on it, and Fratangelo in a hole. Fratangelo with a slapping bunt this time. It'll more than do the job, and Fratangelo is safe at first. That wasn't her intent that time, but it gets the job done anyway, and now Georgetown in a golden spot. And I would have to think that Destiny Wallace will be asked to put the bunt down to try to advance Shelton and Fratangelo. And so, back-to-back hits for the Tigers here in the bottom of the fifth. And we'll see if Wallace can indeed do the job at the plate. Puts the bunt down toward first, and this will more than do the job as the runners advance up. Great work by Destiny Wallace, understanding her role, gives up herself, and turns the lineup to the top of the order in Kaylin Barnett. Runners at second and third with one out here in the fifth, and a real chance for the Tigers to break this game open. Calhoun, I saw her waving her left fielder, Carly Jones, back a couple of steps in left. I don't think Barnett's not going to see a bunt here, as now she pokes one towards right. Shelton will tag at third, and the ball is fielded, but the throw will not be in time, and so Georgetown does indeed manufacture a run, and the Tigers will take a 3-0 lead as Fratangelo goes to third with now 2 out. So good work by both Wallace and Barnett. And in a game like this, you need to try and scratch those runs in. And now the Midway coaching staff trying to argue that perhaps Shelton didn't touch the plate. It's the only thing I can think of, or perhaps asking about the front end of the batter's box. In either case, a short conversation. Stevie Shepard will step up. She's 1 for 2 today. She'll look to find an alley to bring Fratangelo home and give the Tigers a 4-0 lead. McCall trying to get a frame on the first pitch, and the umpire does not oblige, and so it's 1-0 to the Tiger left fielder, Stevie Shepard. Plenty of room in left center if Shepard could barrel one up. She'll foul one over the Midway dugout, though. 1-1. Fratangelo over at third. Kind of a swinging bunt single. It sent Shelton to second, and then the Tigers went small ball with a sac bunt and a sac fly to bring home Shelton. Pitch a little low. Big opportunity here for Shepard. Another ball cued off the end of the bat into the Midway bullpen this time. Calhoun trying to work her way out of this with just one run across. Shepard off the left foot of Calhoun. Rhodes trying to make a play, but will never throw out. Shepard down at first, and Georgetown gets another run in, making it 4-0.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 21, Mallory Myers.
An unfortunate break there for the Eagles, as that ball did not have a lot on it, and I thought that Duquette would have had a chance out at second to make that play, but instead it doesn't happen. Myers puts a bunt down. It's ruled foul, and that's a break for the Tigers because Myers would have been out by a step and a half. Midway would have preferred that one be left in play, as Myers would have easily been retired off a strong throw from McCall. It's 0-1. Don't see your number 3 hitter laying a bunt down like that with 2 outs very often. Georgetown just trying to work against the grain here to see if they can manufacture some offense. McCall again trying the frame job. It doesn't work, and it's 1-1. Myers with a running swing, ground ball to second, the shuffle over to Rhodes at the bag, retires a side. But 2 big runs in for the Tigers, 3 more hits on the board to boot. Now Kelsey Hill returns to the mound in the top of the 6th with a 4-0 lead. Four, 5, 6 for the Eagles in their lineup. Ludwig, McCall, and Jones to work against Kelsey Hill, who through 5 innings has allowed 3 hits, has walked 1, hit a batter, and struck out 3 on 71 pitches. Midway loaded the bases in the top of the 2nd with only 1 out and could not get anything across against the Tigers freshman. And aggressive early, Ludwig, and out in left field. No problem for Shepard, and 1 pitch, 1 out. That'll bring up the catcher, Kyra McCall, who is 0 for 2.
Up to the plate for the Eagles, number 50, Kyra McCall.
Hill's first offering in the dirt. Hill misses just high, and I got to think the first pitch in the dirt changed the umpire's eye line on that. It looked pretty good from my view. No doubt it was up towards the top of the zone, but nevertheless, still looked pretty strong. Not there. 3-0. I like this here from Barnett coming in from third. Just a little bit of a word here to Hill to try to settle the freshman down. Hill is excited about the fact that she has now 2 more runs, but now she issues the 4-pitch walk to McCall. Let's see if Midway chooses to put a pinch runner on for McCall at first, ahead of Carly Jones stepping into the plate. Fratangelo back to the mound to talk to her freshman hurler. Looks like McCall will stay in to run at first. And Jones steps in. Carly Jones 1 for 2 on the day against Hill. Jones showing bunt. Georgetown trying a little wraparound play as Randall snuck over to first, but McCall not far enough off to warrant a throw. It's 1-0. Jones not showing bunt this time and takes one on the inner half. It's 1-1. Trying to mix things up, trying to keep Hill off balance here, trying to put Hill off balance, I should say, and see if Midway can manufacture some offense as they're trailing late in this one, as that ball dies right on the line Everybody will be safe. Boy, that's a tough break for Georgetown, as that ball was headed for foul territory the entire way and then caught just a little mound of dirt and died right on the foul line. And so McCall heads to second. Jones now at first with one out. Stepping in is Duquette, who's 1 for 1.
Up to the plate for the Eagles.
Don't do it. There's slap there. Right to Randall. Is that a double play? Yes, it is. Saying don't do it. Swing there at the first pitch, and instead a double play line out as McCall did not locate the ball, and Hill gets out of the jam again. We're going to the bottom of 6. Hill still dealing a shutout. That play reminded me of a play we saw earlier in the season with the Tiger opponent threatening late in the game with 2 runners on, and Georgetown induced a triple play with Cassie Randall starting it. Here she starts a double play to get Hill out of another jam and send this game to the bottom of the 6th with Georgetown still leading 4-0. And it looks like we will have a pinch hitter here. This was Sarah Claxton's spot in the lineup. It looks like Haley Stansberry will pinch hit here for Claxton in the 4 spot. Stansberry on the season, a .212 batter.
Pinch hitting for the Tigers, number 10, Haley Stansberry.
Sarah Jo Calhoun back on the mound. This will be her 60th pitch of the game as she begins against Stansberry. This has primarily been Stansberry's role, that late inning pinch hitter. She'll be looking for her 8th hit on the season in her 20th appearance. Off the outer edge, McCall can't earn the strike. Stansberry scheduled to be followed by Rannells and Bezier. I'd be surprised if either one of those two were lifted for a pinch hitter. Stansberry stays on the breaking ball, but tops it towards her own dugout. A ball and a strike here to Stansberry. Staying back on it. Nice stab at third by Kennedy Thompson. Terrific reaction going to her left and robs Stansberry of a single. Didn't even have time to take a step. Just stuck the glove out off the left side and stabbed it out of midair.
Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 13, Cassie Randall.
We've seen some terrific defensive plays on that left side all day from both Kennedy Thompson and Katie Rhodes. And Cassie Randalls steps in now for the Tigers. Randall says the heck with that. Goes to the right side, but another nice play as Duquette was trailing out towards shallow right and pulls that pop-up in and quickly 2 down. That ball just kept up in the air and allowed the second baseman enough time to float underneath it and stab it. Continued impressive infield defense for Midway. And again, the umpire setting the front edge of the batter's box. Georgetown's been riding that line all game long against Calhoun. And Bezier is right there with the left foot to begin this at-bat. Bezier is 0 for 2. And we'll try that front line reset again. And now Bezier says, okay, you're going to reset on me, I'm going to reset on you. And even Thomas Thornton with a laugh down at third saying, come on. I even heard Peyton Bezier apologize to the umpire before the pitch. And the pitch one-hops the plate anyway to begin the at-bat. I think Bezier even apologized one more time before stepping in for the second pitch. Slow pitch high and away, and Bezier's ahead 2-0. See if Bezier gets the green light. Doesn't matter as it's in the dirt. It's 3-0. Shelton on deck. And Bezier takes one high, and so Shelton will get a chance to bat here with 2 out in the bottom of the 6th. Shelton 1 for 2 on the day, and looks like Bezier will be lifted for a pinch runner. So the change will have to be made here at first. Kylie West will run for Bezier.
Pinch running for the Tigers, number 4, Kylie West. Up to the plate for the Tigers, number 1, Ashley Shelton.
West has good speed down at first. We'll likely see Bezier go back into the field in the top of the 7th in center. Now Shelton with a chance to get West moving. West taking off for second the entire way. The high throw goes into center field, and West has the stolen base. Aggressive base running for Georgetown, and now West 6 of 7 on the year, trying to steal the bags. Now Midway will reset its defense as Calhoun refocuses on Shelton. In the dirt this time, and West, not much of a secondary lead. Retreats, and it's 2-0 to Shelton. Shelton out in front, and it's 2-1. See the way that ball was trailing in. The eyes of Shelton had to be lighting up, figuring she was about to tee one off. But even that one came in a bit slower. Shelton's still in a good spot here. Ground ball to short. Rhodes has it, and the rare mistake as West crossed in front of Rhodes, and I think that was enough of a distraction. Would have been a tough play for Shelton anyway to be thrown out at first. But instead it puts runners at the corners. And it'll bring up Maria Fratangelo. Fratangelo 1 for 2. Boy, what a big insurance run this could be if Fratangelo could bring West in from third. Would expect Shelton to try and take second here on this first pitch. Instead, Fratangelo right through the wickets of Calhoun. This will be a tough play. Rhodes, does she make it? No, the run is in, and it's 5-0 in favor of Georgetown. Great hustle down the line. Fratangelo knew that Rhodes has a strong arm and had to bust it down the line, and she wound up doing it, and Georgetown now puts the lead outside of slam range. And Destiny Wallace now steps in with a chance to play add-on. Wallace 0 for 1 with a sacrifice. Wallace takes one in the dirt. Runner's not going anywhere. Wallace waves through the fastball on the outer half. Fastball again. This time Calhoun misses low, and Wallace moves ahead 2-1. Barnett on deck should Wallace reach. Shelton out at second, Fratangelo out at first. Another run in for Georgetown. Wallace pokes one right at the center fielder. Another spectacular diving play, this time made out in center by Ashley Ward to retire the side, but Georgetown picks up a critical run as Kelsey Hill returns to the mound, going for the complete game shutout as we head to the top of the 7th. Kelsey Hill trying to finish off the complete game shutout. Recorded one of those in her collegiate debut against the Union in an 11-0 5-inning win early in the season. She'll try and go the distance here against Midway. She'll deal with McDowell, Ward, and Albert here in the top of the 7th. McDowell thus far is 0 for 1. So far, Hill, 80 pitches, has allowed 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 3, and brings the fastball high and inside. That was, don't have a radar gun on, but I'd imagine that was one of the harder fastballs that Hill was thrown today. Really can't blame her if she's extra excited seeing her team get her another run in the top or the bottom half of the 6th. Now misses wide, 2-0. This has been the one issue for Hill today, is falling behind the leadoff batter. It's happened time and again. She's been able to wiggle her way out of those situations, but not something you want particularly late in the game, and now she's behind 3-0 to McDowell. And Coach Thornton is going to give Hill every opportunity to finish this game out. There is nobody loosening in the Tiger bullpen. A late strike call keeps the at-bat going. Barnett hugging the line at third, and McDowell slaps it that way out off the netting, and we'll go full. Thomas Thornton, Tigers head coach, going to get that one. I think he likes the groove Hill's in, wants to keep it going. Outfielder straight away, the 3-2, and McDowell fouls another one off. This one goes over the netting this time. Look out down below. Peyton Bazier did indeed return to the game in center field. And McDowell draws the leadoff walk. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter here for the Eagles. Mary Andres will pinch hit for Ward in the 9 spot. And I think we're also going to have a pinch runner down at first. Looks like Emily Taylor might come on to pinch run for McDowell down at first. The first time we've seen Taylor today. Will be, if she does indeed come in to run, her 9th game of the season. And eventually she gets the signal that she's allowed to go in. So Taylor in to run for McDowell. And at the plate, Andres the catcher, will pinch hit for the center fielder, Ashley Ward. So a couple of changes here. Nobody out, top of the 7th. Midway needing 5 runs to extend this game. Georgetown trying to finish off the sweep and pick up their 5th win in a row before a scheduled series with Thomas More this weekend here in Georgetown. Taylor on the season has stolen 1 base. She's also been caught once as Andres lays the bunt down, and Reynolds just gets over in time to record the out, and the runner moves to second. But at this point, with a 5-run lead, the Tigers just want to ensure they'll get that out. We'll have, it looks like, another pinch hitter for Midway, Sydney Hudnall, the sophomore out of Ohio County High School. It'll be just her 10th at-bat on the season. And now time is called. The umpire's discussing something. Not sure what they're talking about here. I think they're just conferring that the runner was out at first, and they were.
Number 23, Sydney Hudnall.
So Hudnall steps in. Her fifth game appearance. She's 1 for 9 with a couple of strikeouts. She has scored 2 runs. So Midway emptying the tank here in the top of the 7th, just trying to find some way to scratch something across against Kelsey Hill. This would be an impressive pitching day for the Tigers if Hill isn't indeed able to close this game out. Sarah Claxton won game 1, gave up 2 runs, struck out 10 in a complete game win. Hill trying to one-up her with a complete game shutout. Hudnall has other ideas as the runner, Taylor, is chased back to second. Pitch in the dirt for Tangelo over to third, and Barnett there, and safe is Taylor at third. Throw came in front of the bag a little bit, and Taylor with an awkward slide there. I think she thought as the throw came she was going to be in there with no problem, then realized at the last second, uh-oh, I better slide, and able to beat the tag, and so Taylor takes third. That's her second stolen base of the season. Now Hill has to focus on Hudnall, who is ahead 2-0. It's 3-0. You're Hill right now, you can't worry about that run at first. Right now, that run means nothing other than the loss of the shutout. You just need to focus on the batter in front of you and try and pick up 2 more outs and close out this win. Georgetown looking for their 5th straight win heading into the weekend. And it's a 4-pitch walk to the pinch hitter, Hudnall. And now a discussion will be taking place at the mound between Hill and Coach Thornton. No activity in the Georgetown bullpen. And I have to think, unless things really get out of hand here for Hill, this is her game to finish. Kelsey Hill, 88 pitches, or excuse me, just updated now, 92 pitches after that walk to Hudnall. It is her 5th walk issued of the game. And one of the more dangerous hitters on the lineup, Katie Rhodes, scheduled to step in for the Eagles. And I think that's part of the reason why Coach Thornton went out there, to just calm his freshmen down, but also right in front of one of the Eagles' most dangerous hitters in Katie Rhodes, and probably their best overall player, at least from what we've seen here today in this doubleheader. Kennedy Thompson is on deck, and Hill comes with the first pitch, and Rhodes fouls that one off the leg. That will not feel good on the bus ride back to campus. The 0-1. Skied in to shallow left. Shepard will take it, and the runner will not go from third. That's the right decision. Hudnall will take second behind the play, and I like that from Fratangelo, not risking the throw out the second. May have been able to make a play, But Hudnall will take second on the play, and there are 2 out with Kennedy Thompson stepping in.
Play for the Eagles, number 12, Kennedy Thompson.
Aggressive base running from Hudnall out at first, going to second. Hill fires one in the dirt as the Eagles are down to their last hope. Thompson 0 for 2 on the day. Hill wants that complete game shutout. Inside, and it's 2-0. Pitch number 97 on the way from Kelsey Hill. Right down the heart of the plate for a strike. Good pitch there. Not much that the batter, Kennedy Thompson, was going to be able to do with, as that was right at the hollow of the knee. Hill delivers the 2-1. Thompson through the right side. That'll score 1. Maybe the play at first. She is out at first. Never mind. What a play from Destiny Wallace to Mallory Myers on the 9-3 putout to end the ball game. The run does not count, and the ball game is over. Boy, what great hustle from Destiny Wallace. Knew that she had a chance at first from the get-go and came up, made the play, and delivered a missile to Mallory Myers to end the ball game and preserve the complete game shutout for Kelsey Hill. Hill does indeed finish it off. No runs allowed on just 4 hits. And the Tigers sweep the doubleheader over Midway, and Georgetown has now won 5 in a row heading to the weekend, where they are slated to take on the Thomas More Saints. With great pitching all the way around for Georgetown. Both Hill and Claxon were spectacular on this day, and they lead the Tigers now to 5 in a row. As this game is in the books. Georgetown takes game 1, 5-2. They win game 2, 5-0. That's going to wrap up our day out here at the complex in Georgetown, Kentucky. The Tigers have swept, and they've won 5 in a row. Good afternoon from Georgetown.